coming up.
The most important thing is to keep the most important things most important. Cow condition, is the most important.
We would expect for those guys that use the Gain Smart line of products, for every dollar that you invest, you'll get $3 in return.
See how a mineral program is helping to improve profitability on the historic Waggoner Ranch. Next on The American Rancher. Hello, I'm Pam Minnick, and welcome to The American Rancher. Today on the show, we visit the historic Waggoner Ranch near Vernon, Texas. For over 100 years, commercial cattle operations have been the centerpiece of the Waggoner. The Waggoner's lineage is deep and wide in the cattle business, but with over 10,000 head of mama cows at any given time, keeping an operation of this size efficient and profitable requires best practices and low expenses in everything they do. The Waggoner Ranch was established in 1849 by Dan Waggoner. He began the ranch by buying land in western Wise County in 1870. As land was cleared for settlement, he gradually moved west, and by the late 1870s, he had settled along Beaver Creek near Electra, Texas. Dan Waggoner passed away in 1903, and his son, W.T. Waggoner, continued his father's legacy and expanded the operation's ranching interest. Today, the ranch consists of over 500,000 acres and is recognized as the largest ranch in Texas under one fence. Descendants of the Waggoner family sold the ranch to Kroenke Ranches of Bozeman, Montana in 2016. Today, Sam Conley is the general manager of the Waggoner, and the ranch manager is Heath Owenby, who has a long history of developing best practices in the cattle business.
I was hired here in August of 16, and when I got here, the ranch was about half stocked. We'd just come out of a very major drought that affected so many people in Texas and Oklahoma and New Mexico for several years. And so our first challenge was to get the ranch stocked. And so the first 6 months I was here, we spent just restocking the ranch. So we doubled the cow herd size, and we brought a lot of northern cows, northern genetics in here to introduce to the ranch. The Waggoner Ranch has been known for its purebred Hereford cattle for decades and decades, and I think as times have changed and the industry has changed, we've just basically had to grow out of that, and today we have grown into more of Angus cow herd, and so we are not raising any more purebred Hereford cattle on the ranch to date. We just sold the last of them last year. We are now strictly Angus cows, Angus bulls. We raise our Angus bulls, the majority of them in our company, and they come from one of our sister ranches in Montana. Most of these Texas ranches kind of share the same challenges as far as we have, so many invasive species with the mesquite and the prickly pear, drought. This particular ranch, one of our major challenges is water. We don't have any underground water, so we don't have windmills or springs or anything like that. So we rely strictly on Mother Nature and rainfall to fill tanks and lakes. And we also have pretty hot summers. That's another challenge. And bringing these northern cattle in, it's taken them several years to kind of acclimate and adapt to this climate. But it's been the right thing to do as far as the genetics. Just improving this cow herd and just raising animals that will go and just be productive in the feed yard and for our customers that are buying them. The size of the ranch in itself is a challenge. We're about 30 miles north to south, and then 45 miles approximately east and west. So it's a large chunk of land, and just the diversity of the terrain and the land is pretty immense in itself. And so the east side of the ranch, we've got some really good just mesquite flat country with really good grasses, and you get over on the west side of the ranch, and it's more just breaky cedar breaks, river scalds, and so that country over there is not near as good. So on the east side of the ranch, we can run a cow to approximately 30 acres of grass, and then on the west side of the ranch, we may be 50 to 60 acres. So it's pretty diverse, and you just got to really watch your grass and your cows and just really pay close attention to cow condition. It's funny too, one year we may be really wet on one side of the ranch and really dry on the other. So I mean, when we get a rain, the whole ranch doesn't get a rain most of the time. It's just, it can be really spotty, and that also presents challenges. Right now, you know, we've just come out of a pretty droughty time for about a year, and we've got some really good rains over the last 6 to 8 months, and we've run a lot of water. We filled up quite a few of most of our tanks here on the ranch, but we've still got about a quarter of the ranch on the northeast corner that has not run any water. And so, you know, we're still having to keep that stocking rate scaled back up there for just the cattle that we can water. We've got plenty of grass, but, you know, we're just lacking in water there. As a manager, I feel like even though you might get to where you feel like you're happy with where you're at on the ranch, once you get to that point and the big picture, then I feel like you start having to take small things and see the areas where you can still improve places. And I have a saying here on the ranch with all of our guys that it is the most important thing is to keep the most important things most important. In that comes cow condition. You know, is the most important factor on this ranch. And so there's several things that go into cow condition, and nutrition and health are two major components there. Anytime you're talking about herd health or cow condition or nutrition, I mean, you have to think of mineral.
Up next,
They carry more bloom, they can eat less, and do more.
Heath decides to implement a new mineral program on the Waggoner. That story is after the break here on The American Rancher. Welcome back to The American Rancher. With all the challenges of running a cattle operation, especially a large one, cattle condition is most important on the legendary Waggoner Ranch in Vernon, Texas. With thousands of cattle to look after, extreme weather, water shortages, and 1,000 other challenges on the ranch, it's easy to lose money when cattle are not in top condition. With that in mind, Heath decided to take a closer look at the Waggoner Herd's Mineral Program.
So in looking for a product where we could incorporate on some of our yearlings, I'd run into a friend that I haven't seen in 20 years, John Tucker, that works for BioZyme.
In the 20 years I've been with BioZyme, I've been very blessed to get to work with some superior operations from north to south, and getting to work with the Waggoner Ranch all was developed with the relationship that I had with Heath Owenby. It all came from 20 years ago when he was a day worker and then became an employee at Dixon Creek at the 4 Sixes. And Billy Paul Vinson was the general manager of the Sixes Dixon Creek division, and he was using our complete program, and I gave them a pallet of our equine free choice mineral, and he had all the cowboys there, and Heath Owenby happened to be one of the cowboys that was there. Started out as a day worker and then became an employee at the ranch. Fast forward 20 years later, Heath Owenby and I are sitting down and having a general discussion about working with the Waggoner. And he referred back to the time that I gave that pallet of mineral to the 4 Sixes at Dixon Creek, and he saw the benefits that his horses had that were in his particular string by being on Amifirm.
And we just got to talking, and you know, we were just visiting about the challenges on the ranch, and he just asked if there was any way that BioZyme could help us. And so after he and I visited for several months and you know, just studied their products and him coming to the ranch and looking at what we were doing, we decided we were going to try the Gain Smart. And I remember John specifically told me, he says, you know, let's walk before we run here. Let's just try this on a set of yearlings and see how you like it. We started on a set of yearlings that year on wheat, and I just really liked the product. You know, one thing that I really liked about it was you know, we never had to swap to a paloxylene. This mineral is a complete mineral, and there's no need for a digestive upset mineral. It's a complete mineral that you don't have to change in the middle of the season. It's easy for our guys to not have to swap minerals here and there, and so we've done that now for a couple of years. Feeding this Amifirm and the mineral, I just feel like overall they carry more bloom, they can eat less, and do more, so to speak, and didn't have near the digestive upset issues. We were just as pleased enough with this product that it led us to try other trials in other areas with first calf heifers on breed ups and comparing them to other cattle that weren't on the Amerfirm mineral, and the results were just really eye-opening to me. The cattle that we tried this on bred over 10% better breed up on a set of first calf heifers. So overall, I've just been really pleased with the product.
Gain Smart helps Waggoner Ranch increase profitability by keeping cattle in top condition, which, as Heath says, keeps the main thing the main thing. In the big picture, Gain Smart gives Waggoner one more valuable tool for helping to stay profitable well into the future.
Well, I think with all the rising costs today that we're facing, I mean, it's been very challenging, and I think that if I'm doing my job, I have to find products that will give me a return on my dollar that I spend. And so anytime I can invest dollars in a product and they're going to give me pounds back or help my herd health or whatever that may be, then I have to take a very serious look at that, and I feel like the Gain Smart has helped me do that.
After the break,
It's really safe to say if you put the economics to the things that we do, for every dollar that you invest, you'll get $3 in return.
learn how Gain Smart minerals can help promote healthy, economical pounds by maximizing the energy and protein available in your cattle's diet. You're watching The American Rancher. Stay with us. Welcome back to The American Rancher. For over 70 years, nutritional supplements from BioZyme Incorporated, like VitaFirm and Gain Smart, have improved profitability for commercial cattle operators everywhere. John Jeffrey is a longtime cattle producer who joined the BioZyme team in part because of the benefits the mineral added to his own herd.
You know, I'm a product of a ranch family, and cows is what put me through school and gave me an education, helped me get to where I'm at today. And I think some of the other folks I work with can tell you that same testimonial. And so working for a small company that does big things is very important to all of us. And we know that every day when we go to work that we're an employee-owned company, and so the impact that we can have on the industry is immense. And that's a good feeling to know that you really truly give back to the industry that you love. I'm confident in the recommendation of our products, not only from the aspect that I work for the company and I know the research and I've seen what the product does, but my own family uses the products and have for many years before I came to work here. So we heavily are into AI and embryo transfer, so I can show you statistically on a piece of paper exactly how many more grade A eggs that we get, how many more eggs that we get, how many more cows will actually accept the embryo on the day that you're going to put embryos in. So, no, I can talk to you about it just from being a producer just like you and what it's meant to our operation at home. So the Gain Smart line of products work because of Aobiotics Amerfirm, which is our proprietary fed-through microbial that we ferment and have since 1965. Amerfirm's in everything that we make, in all of our supplements, drenches, and gels. Why is Aobiotics Amerfirm important? Because Amerfirm enables an animal to take what you feed them, whether that be grain or forage, and increase the digestibility and absorption rate of the nutrients. Gain Smart is a highly fortified mineral. It contains chelated copper and zinc and organic iodine. We developed the Gain Smart line of products prior to the veterinary feed directive being enforced. And at that time, we didn't know exactly how the use of chlorotetracycline would be used in a backgrounding and stalker operation. Therefore, we felt like it was very, very important for us to address some of those problems that those guys face, like eye problems and feet problems, holistically as we could with the use of vitamins and minerals. So that's why we chose to use chelated copper and zinc, because copper is known to be very important in the immune function of an animal. We know that zinc is highly important in terms of foot health, and of course organic iodine is very important to address some of those issues as well. The Gain Smart line of products were developed for the backgrounding and stalker part of our industry. Whether that be in a grass situation, a wheat pasture situation, or a grow yard situation, they're designed to be utilized to help those cattle in that mid-stage of the production cycle be efficient and put on healthy pounds. The GainSmart products work the same in the stocker industry as VitaFerm in the cow-calf industry. Aobiotics Amifirm helps an animal take what you feed them, utilize it better, makes them more efficient, healthier, and effectively you have more average daily gain and more pounds sellable weight when it comes to day-to-market cattle. So some of you may ask, what is the value of using a GainSmart product or a product that's produced by BioZyme even in your cow herd? Through 180 pieces of research since 1965, it's really safe to say if you put the economics to the things that we do, for every dollar that you invest, you'll get $3 in return. If you spend $1 and get $3 back, that's a really good trade, a trade that I'd make every time, every day. In the stocker program, we would expect for those guys that use the GainSmart line of products to get at least 1/4 pound of gain a day on those cattle. We also know that Amifirm through research helps animals increase intake. We know that animals that are drinking and eating, even if they are met with some type of a health challenge and an antibiotic needs to be used, that antibiotic will work more effectively and efficiently because that animal's own immune system is able to help that antibiotic work. So when we talk about the backgrounding and phase of our industry, not only do we have the GainSmart line of products to help, it's a 3-phase program. We have our VitaFerm cattle drench, which is on arrival or administration at processing, 1 ounce per head. We have our stress tubs that are put out for the first 14 to 21 days until they're gone. And then we have the GainSmart wheat pasture mineral, the GainSmart stocker mineral, and our GainSmart RU 1600 mixing mineral that can be put into the 3rd phase of the program. And so for the simple investment of drench, stress tubs, and going to one of the GainSmart products in a 60-day period, based on today's market, it's very easily to say that you're going to get more than a 3-to-1 return. But even if we just look at the 1/4 pound a day gain in a 100-day situation, that's 25 pounds. So at $2, which is very conservative in today's market, that's 50 bucks, and you're going to invest in a stocker operation for 100 days, probably a little over a bag or a bag and 1/4 of mineral in one of your animals. So I think it's safe to say that that math is pretty easy to do. GainSmart stands out against our competition because we do not least cost formulate the products that we make. So it's very consistent, it's made the same every time. We use the same vendors to buy the ingredients that we use. Lots of love and care that goes into what we make. We sell Aobiotics Amifirm in 42 countries in the world, including the United States. Our facilities have to be under every stringent regulation there is to be able to do that. So that also tells the folks that are our customers that our products are safe, they're wholesome, they're good, they're made the same way every time, every day at our facility. It would be very hard for you to find a stocker and backgrounding product like GainSmart products in your local feed store that could match the tag that we have. They certainly don't have Aobiotics Amifirm, and it's made consistently. So in the GainSmart line of products, we have GainSmart Wheat, GainSmart Stocker, GainSmart Stocker Heat, which incorporates the heat technology, which keeps cattle out grazing on a hot day. As well, those products have garlic in it as a natural insect repellent. And then we have the GainSmart RU 1600 mixing mineral that's made to be utilized in TMRs and as a feed-through product in some type of a starter or backgrounding facility. I think it's really easy to say that marketing healthy cattle that have been efficient in gaining weight and their overall appearance adds to the value, of course. Consequently, we've developed a branded nutritional program with Superior Livestock that we now are in our 7th year. And so in that program, we have 2 badges. We have the VitaFerm badge and the GainSmart badge. So those VitaFerm badges would be calves that would come directly off a set of cows on a ranch, and then the GainSmart cattle would be those that would come off a backgrounding or starter operation that would be marketed. Those cattle must be on mineral 45 days prior to sale date and until delivery. The company motto is care that comes full circle, and I think we've talked about that today in talking about GainSmart.
The care that comes full circle, I've witnessed it on numerous levels with John Tucker and VitaFerm. These guys they're just a phone call away. They're on the ranch numerous times a year, and if I know that if I have a problem or if we've got challenges, these guys are going to be here to help us, and so that's just something that's irreplaceable and very important to me.
From me as a person that's a producer just like you, even though I wear the company hat, it's very important that we're able to not only help our customer provide them with a wholesome product that helps them produce wholesome beef to sell to the consumer, but it also is a product that allows their family to be, I guess, more sustainable in our industry. Sustainability is a big word, and being able to sustain the ranches and the folks that are in the livestock industry and maintain the production of beef to provide to the consumer is very, very important. And our philosophy is if we can help you as the customer and we can help your animals be healthier and gain more weight, that means that's more money in your pocket to sustain your livelihood and put your kids through college or whatever their dreams may be. Any of you that are interested in purchasing our products, it's real easy. Just go to biozymeinc.com to the website, find the ASM in your area. If not, there's an 800 number that you can call, and we'll be glad to help you find the local feed store in your area that carries our products, and we'll certainly help facilitate you finding what you need and making sure that it's delivered on a timely basis.
That's all the time we have today. We hope you enjoyed our look at the historic Waggoner Ranch. To find out more about us, visit our website, theamericanrancher.com, or connect with us on Facebook or YouTube. I'm Pam Minnick. For our entire American Rancher team, thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time.